Welcome back to Sonic 06, Part 50. We must follow Mephiles.
Wait, is Mephiles? I mean, I know that the Shadow is chasing after Mephiles, but do we actually get to see him while we're here?
Nope.
So then we're not actually following him.
Well, in the cutscene we see him, but in the game, no.
Yeah, in the upcoming cutscene, we successfully sealed him in the Scepter of Darkness again.
Yes, while Mephiles is still in his amorphous form.
Yes. You know, I actually like villains that have amorphous forms. I mean, one of the earliest examples that I think of right off the top of my head is Devil May Cry 1 has got the Nightmare Monster, which is very much an amorphous blob that turns into a biomechanical tank at the end of the game. It's
Nice.
it's very silly and very cool. And
Biomechanical tank. Oh god.
I kind of like it when our villains have amorphous forms because it allows the developers to do virtually everything with them. Another enemy that comes off the top of my head is from Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance, the Shadow enemy, which was the developer's way of having an early version of the mirror fight that Castlevania is relatively well known for, or at least action games in general are well known for.
Allow me to gain some clarification, if you will. By amorphous, do we mean that it's basically it has no form, or it's a shapeshifter?
Shapeshifter.
Okay, so we're talking shapeshifter tropes.
Yes, shapeshifter tropes.
So like Paper Mario,
Kinda.
Pokemon.
Well, there's Ditto, sure, but and Mew, but we don't like to talk about Mew being able to learn transform.
Dark matter.
Dark matter, not so much really. I mean, dark matter is mostly a blob shape, and he's kind of consistently that.
Yeah, but doesn't he create new weapons based on... No, wait, no, I'm thinking specifically of the Kirby 64 boss fight.
Yeah, and that's not really him developing new weapons. That's him using various elements that he's gathered in order to utilize various powers.
Right, but the point...
And he doesn't even change his shape during that fight. He just activates different forms.
Well, yeah, that's changing shape, is changing form.
Well, but no, he's not actually changing his form. He's activating different attack forms, and it doesn't change his shape at all. He's using different elements as the fight goes on until you kill all of them.
So that's like saying that Kirby's not really a shapeshifter.
Honestly, no. Kirby isn't a shapeshifter. I mean, the closest thing that Kirby gets to being a shapeshifter is when he's got the rock power up and he actually, does stone shifting.
Stone shifting.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing that's fucking with me is where to draw the line between using a power in order to change shape or just changing shape.
I'll admit it's a bit of a complication, but I usually refer to when an enemy fully changes their shape as actual shape shifting, as opposed to changing the whatever powers that they're using as shape shifting.
Yeah, as in putting in a weapon.
Kirby's copy ability, for example, that's not really shape-shifting. That's, changing whatever attack style he's going through.
Right, it's like picking up a weapon doesn't change the shape of your hand. It's just you have a new object in your possession.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I see what you mean now. That's the difference between shape-shifting and equipping.
Mm-hmm.
We have learned
medal.
something today. We got a gold medal for keeping our dichotomy straight.
Chaos control.
You see, in this form, you can't even really say the Mephiles is a blob. He's just, amorphous matter.
Yeah, he needs some kind of body in order for Shadow to have somebody to talk to during this cutscene.
Who are you? I'm Shadow. Shadow the Hedgehog.
Play my game.
Shadow. Your face. Your form. I will remember. Your death. Certain. You will die.
They should have added some reverb onto this to make the scene a little bit more epic. If not some reverb, then at least a backing track.
But then you can't hear how metal Dan Green is when he really tries to be evil, and he's pretty good at that.
He is pretty good at being evil, but he needs some support, honestly. At least here.
What he needs is a quest, a goal, something
Well, he has
to do.
a quest and a goal. It's worth 300 gold to him, or
Yes,
rather
it's-
7. Or rather, his quest is actually worth 7 emeralds.
You can't just stand there
Yes. And you.
holding 7 emeralds. You gotta put the emeralds down and then
Yes.
start a family.
The flames are properly sealed. It's done.
Now I forget because it's been a while since we've done the silver playthrough. How did the flames get sealed inside Elise? I don't think it was Silver that did that.
No, it was Elise's father, actually.
Okay.
It was the only
how
way
did
he
he
could
do
save
that?
the world. Because he has the royal blood or something. He has the power.
But did we get to see him actually
You're
do
going
that?
to leave it behind?
Yes, we did.
I already
Oh,
know
okay.
what becomes of it.
And we saw that really sad, really kind of creepy animation where he was like patting her head while she was
Yes,
unconscious,
Of course.
and then he died.
And then he was made the deaded.
Chaos control.
See, what I find in this game is that if there's a power, then the best candidate for wielding that power usually has it and does something with it, and it makes it kind of predictable. Because Shadow can time travel. The Scepter of Darkness got the thing. We got all the proper negators.
A plot hole moment during Silver's story. He actually leaves the Chaos Emerald in Elise's possession. During Shadow's story, Silver takes it with him.
No, I'd like to chalk that up to like a Tarantinoism is just because he'll show the same scene 2 times, but the scene will have like a divergent pathway in the second way.
Specifically, find out what material.
I think it's a matter of perspective. Shadow didn't see Silver do that, so he assumes that he didn't.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I found the means to seal Mephiles.
Or I may be giving this game too much credit. See, if this was yes?
Now we're trying to figure out what the Scepter of Darkness was made from so we can craft a second one. Thing is, we don't actually craft the second one on screen.
No, the fucking thing just appears. You call that crafting? That's how archaeologists ask for help. Protect
Hello,
the
Endless Worms. Mind
Run,
you, Endless
Marty,
Worms here
run.
doesn't make any sense given the timeline, but oh well.
Doc, who is it? What do you think? The Libyans! The Libyans!
There are no Libyans in the Sonic universe, though.
There's no Libya? There's no Africa?
There's likely an Africa in the Sonic universe, but there certainly is not a Libya.
There should not be any people. Why is she running into the wall? She's terrified.
Because it's safer to run into the wall in this game than anywhere else on the fucking map.
Oh, thank you. I got terrified.
She has a name, but they're not gonna give it to her. They're not gonna give her name on the title card.
She is just archaeologist. Person. Pigtail.
Oh, so we're crafting the Scepter of Darkness literally out of prayers. That makes sense for what happens to
Prayers.
it.
Some people live on a prayer, Gerda. You're gonna tell Bon Jovi he's a dead man?
Well, not yet, but eventually, yes.
Not even a challenge.
Okay.
I mean, that song is about the pressures of living in middle class poverty. So yeah, they're eventually going to be deaded.
All right, Gerda. I'm gonna hold you to that. The day that Bon Jovi dies, you have to tell him that he's dead.
I will potentially do that.
Oh yes, the fountain candles. I unfortunately get genuinely stuck on this step for a little while. Only a little while though.
Because the 3 fountains that you have to find are not necessarily all that well described.
No, allow me to amplify that. The fountains are way easier to find than my actual targets. And in the next part, we're gonna find those targets. Maybe.